Hendra House became involved in the apprenticeship programme in 2004. At the time, our succession plan, HR plan, identified that within the next 12 to 24 months we would require an additional 3 carers. Experience had identified that we weren't able to recruit the calibre of carer that we wanted to take the business forward, so as a result we decided to become involved in the apprentice programme. That gave us the opportunity then to mould and shape and develop individuals into our ethos of care and deliver the quality of service which we aspire to provide to all of our residents.
We actually done some audits of our actual workforce and found at the time a high majority of 26+% of our sort of staff would be retiring in the next 10 years, and we were talking about succession planning, and the idea came from that.
Well, in 2002 when I started with Barchester Healthcare, we had probably about 200 or 300 people just doing MVQs, and we started working with what was then the LSC on a contract, and they asked us to start doing some numbers of apprentices. So we started off with a fairly small programme with about 40 or 50 learners, and we've developed that over the years and to where we are today. I think we put approximately 1,000 apprentices per year go through the system, and with about 500 on programme at any one time.
I was attracted to the apprenticeship via the route of our manager and owner of the care home, Vince. He recommended that I did the apprenticeship because there was so much support there with the county training that we do it through, and also with Vince himself, and that's why I did the apprenticeship route.
I had no previous qualification and I had no interest in joining actually in apprenticeship. When I got a chance from my manager just to go and try it in Milton Keynes about apprenticeship, and that was my first time when I arrived there, and I seen it was really good and very interesting for me, so I took on the apprenticeship in the year 2005.
The way I found out an apprentice was I actually had a friend who had done an apprentice quite a few years back, and it wasn't really well known back then, and they explained to me what it was. It was on the job and college day and stuff like that, and I found this website that I literally just searched for an apprentice, and it was apprentice.org, and I just went through all the apprenticeships on there, and that's how I actually come to apply for an apprenticeship in social care, because I was looking for an apprenticeship in childcare, but I changed my mind on that when I come across this apprenticeship.
Well, retention of staff is one of our biggest expenses for sort of us as a council and any employer, because the average cost of recruitment is £1,500 to £3,500 a person. They can turn up on day one and day two can leave us. So that's why recruitment and selection of our apprentices is the longest interview, you're ever going to go through, because the first round they have to apply. Then they come for a sit-down face-to-face interview. Then they have to go down to one of our services and spend a morning in the service under assessment conditions. Then they have to go to the college and check their diagnostic levels for their literacy and numeracy. So by the end of it, we've sort of spent about 9 hours before we select the final 10. So that's really, really important.
At Hendra House, we acknowledge that recruitment is a very important part of the process. It's also a two-way process. First of all, it gives the potential candidate the opportunity to assess us as employers, and also for us to assess the applicants as individuals. So what we do is we invite all applicants to come to the home, have informal chat with both myself and our care manager, and then they also get the opportunity to meet the residents and the staff, so they get an understanding of what our business is all about.
Well, at Barchester we have really 2 types of apprenticeship that we run at different levels, and they tend to be, well, historically it used to be people that already work for the company that would join an apprenticeship programme. But in more recent times, sort of in the last 18 months, we've got apprenticeships for people that we recruit into an apprenticeship. So they would apply for an apprenticeship, and we employ them as apprentices as well. So for the company, it's about making sure that we employ fresh people into the business, but also to ensure that we have equal access to the apprenticeships for people that already work for us. And more importantly, it's important that we encourage young people, including school leavers, into the business of health and social care.
I think part of it is very subjective, but it comes from the heart, and one of the reasons for having the informal interview is for us to assess how the individual interacts with our residents, and you know, that's a key part of our initial informal assessment process.
My job in Queen's Court is understanding the needs and the nutrition diets of residents by meeting with them more regularly, having a better understanding what is the dietaries, like whether they are able to eat soft diet or puree diet or maybe liquidized. So I get more involved with that and in the front of house as well.
At the moment I work with people with learning disabilities in a day centre. They come here to, after going from their homes from supported living, they come over for the day and we take them out, we go bowling, you know, we do all sorts of stuff with them depending on their how able they are to do stuff. Then I'll be moving on to supported living, so I'll be seeing what that happens on that side of it.
My role is as a senior carer and a nutrition champion, which my role is to be sure that my residents are being met.
At Hendra House, what we have in place is an open door policy where all apprentices have instant access to either myself as a registered manager, owner registered manager, or the care manager. In addition, we have a good support and backup network from the training provider, because our aim as part of the apprenticeship scheme is to provide the ultimate support for an apprentice right the way through the programme. What we're looking to achieve is not just a qualification, but somebody with the knowledge and skills and the commitment and the dedication to be a long-term investment for the organisation.
Apprenticeships are really important to us because it's the first step on a career ladder for our staff. We've got the apprenticeships as part of a career pathway, so they don't just start and stop and come off and that's it. They start an apprenticeship and they work forward and work upwards and sometimes take a sideways step. We encourage people to do different things, take different roles. So they may do an apprenticeship in health and social care but like to do the catering aspect, so they could also move over into hospitality if they wanted to. So we give people the opportunity to develop a career pathway in whatever they want to do. And in doing that, we only have 87% of apprentices that we retain after they finish their programmes, and they often go on to further learning, and if there's no more apprenticeships, then they may even become our managers of the future and join our business school.
When the apprentices have had their training, the support in the first few months and through the programme is so important, especially when they go into services. So we allocate a mentor and a supervisor, and then by the end of the year, as I say, they're very employable young people.
I feel apprenticeship worked really well for me. It gave me the support, the confidence, because before you sort of feel I've done school and it's going back to school sort of thing. So you do your key skills in maths and English, and they are there to support you through that. So you don't have to be brilliant at it, and they will find the best route for you that gets you through it to the end.
I had a lot of excellent support from the company and from the place that I work in to complete this program, being as an apprentice. So it was really a great journey.
Well, at Hendra House, we've had quite a few people go through the apprenticeship, so you've got the support there from people that have already done it and see where they have achieved, what level they're at now, and it gives you the empowerment really to go out and do it yourself.
The Barchester company was putting me a lot of training to develop me as a good team leader, and developing my self-confidence.
I've had quite a lot of training. I had 2 weeks introduction with Hearts County Council, and also because we deal with epilepsy and stuff like that, I've also been put on an epilepsy training course, which is very helpful because before I knew nothing about epilepsy. I couldn't have told you anything except for flashing lights cause an epileptic fit, which is a lot wider now that I know of, and I know all the different training, and I can also give medication for that.
We have a lady where we are at Hendra who's 60 this year, and she's doing her apprenticeship as well, and we support each other. She felt she couldn't do it, and she's just passed her literacy exam. And with the support of everybody there, she feels, you know, she can keep going.
We have very strong networks with local training providers, local colleges and Job Centre Plus, and especially our training provider, they know the calibre of person that we're looking for, and so they can carry out an initial sift before they send a select band to us for the informal chat prior to any offer of employment. The apprenticeship programme has provided us with a unique commodity, really, that we've got dedicated, loyal and committed employees. 42% of our care staff have now come through the apprenticeship scheme, and also pleased to report that we've had 100% retention and completion of the apprenticeship scheme. And of all the apprentices that we recruited, the only ones that have left were either to start a family or one of our apprentices who accessed higher education and went on to a nursing degree.
One of the most important things about the effects of the apprenticeship programme for us is our return on investment, especially with reduced turnover of staff, because every time a member of staff leaves, that incurs a great cost. And over the years, we've reckoned that it's probably saved us about 5.2 million in recruitment costs for recruiting, training and taking on people to replace people. Because if they don't leave, you don't have those costs. And that's a big benefit to Barchester. And of course, we've got people that are staying with us, so they're competent, they've learnt how to do their jobs properly, they help train other people properly, so we've got consistent standards and service in the company.
The business case for us is, one, the money saving, which obviously, you know, people who deal with finances find very important. For us as an organisation, we've trained them, we've mentored them, so when we employ them, we know exactly what we're getting.
The benefits that we've derived as an organisation are that we've increased profitability year on year, we've reduced waste, we've reduced retention, recruitment selection costs because we have very minimal staff turnover now. We have achieved the ultimate with regard to CQC inspections in achieving not only an excellent overall rating but excellent across all 7 standards, and this has been achieved by developing the staff to deliver the quality care which we're now locally, regionally and nationally recognised for. I think the apprentices would say that their biggest challenge was not developing the knowledge and skills and developing the competencies as a carer. It was completing the key skills, namely numeracy and literacy. But we were fortunate that by choosing an appropriate training provider who were very, very sympathetic to the students, that they all completed the key skills, and in essence the problems which they perceived as having weren't really problems by the time they completed the programme.
I think some of the issues are people leave school and they didn't particularly like maths and English or literacy and numeracy, and it's been one of the biggest problems with apprenticeships is that people don't want to do it. Those are the 2 things that they hate the most. So we've developed a programme that took that into consideration and has made it easier by relating it to their job roles. And once we overcame that, the rest was quite straightforward. So a lot of them have really enjoyed their programmes and have benefited greatly personally, but also want to pass on what they've learned. So some of our apprentices of the past are training our apprentices of the future too, and are developing new programmes, helping us to develop new programmes. And especially in sort of this year of change from MVQs to diplomas and the changes in qualifications, helping us to devise programmes that meet the needs of the company and the individuals that are taking apprenticeships as well. And also to help us to make sure that our apprenticeships are fit for purpose.
At the end of the sort of year, the final part of the year, we reflect on the year and we say, you know, let's look where you started. You were this timid, sort of quiet, underconfident person. Now look at you. You're going out there, you're talking to carers, you're working with social workers. And it's just such a nice feeling to sort of see them at the end of the year. And then they go on to employment and higher things in the organisation, which is a nice feeling. It's worth getting up for.
I think the reason why you were doing an apprenticeship in social care is to advise people to do it is because it is on-the-job learning, and it's the best thing I think for people is to know actually if they want to be in that, because I'd been through so many college courses and then realised actually it's not for me. Whereas apprenticeship, you go on the job and you think actually this is either for me or it's not, and you get the experience of being on a job, and it looks better having an apprenticeship because people then know you've had the experience. And it's helpful to get a job through it as well because, you know, you get to know people in the industry.
I would recommend social care through the apprenticeship route to progress and things like that, because when I first started in care, I just felt I was a care worker. Whereas doing the apprenticeship, you actually feel that you get recognition for the job that you actually do, and that you get supported all the way.
In my own department, I have 2 apprentices, which I did put them forward as well. Because what I've learned and what apprenticeship offered me, it has given me a career in my life. So which I still got a career in apprenticeship to move forward. So which I would like to share with people around me and try to say like apprenticeship is something which could change your life.
I thought apprenticeship is only for the young people, but I don't realize that it's also for adults like me who's been given a chance to be in apprenticeship, and which is a really good start for your career.
The training that I was provided, that the company offered during the apprenticeship, was really good, and seeing how I grew within the company, being as an apprentice, I have passed on a lot of good things to other people as well, saying the company and apprenticeship is really good. So some of them would say, no, I don't want to take it now, and some say, yes, I would like to try it. But when they do give it a try, it does work, and they're so happy that there is a lot of development that I've seen in the home that I work in for apprentices.
When I started the apprenticeship, I came into Hendra House as a team leader. The confidence that it has given me gives you sort of the fuel to maybe chase higher management levels, things like that. And that's where I would like to see myself in years to come, maybe working down that route to senior and then on further afield. I'm
still learning, and I want to develop even more further for what I've studied now. I would just want to go more further and do whichever. In the future, I'm planning to be a chef trainer as well, and to be assisting people within the company as well. So I'm looking forward for a great future and a great career as well.
I will continue to grow on my career, and maybe I could go for the business school to do for diploma or degree in management level. But still working in the healthcare sector.
My aspirations after this apprenticeship is also to work in a day centre, but throughout get my training, get higher ranking, and also I would like to be a social worker in the future for learning disabilities and work my way up from there. Well, the apprenticeship's given me quite a lot of other things to look at as well. It's given me the confidence to maybe attend meetings and talk at those, which I would never have done before. I just think it's a real confidence boost doing the apprenticeship route, and I'm glad.
I just wanted to be a good team leader, and I wanted to be a role model to them. And giving me this apprenticeship, it's going to help me a lot to gain that knowledge. The apprenticeship has brought me as an individual. Like, I find that what I do has made me a better person for what I am, because before I probably wouldn't have chose to be in this industry, but after apprenticeship gives you a taster of what it's like to work with learning disabilities and just all together in that sort of industry. I think it brings it to light what it's like, and it's enjoyable. I really enjoy it. Winning the World Skills and bronze medal gave me so much that I can do something, which I would never have even thought about doing unless I'd done the apprenticeship in the first place. The support that they give you, it just empowers you to say, yes, I can do it. And I would pass that on to anybody. I mean, when I first started the apprenticeship, even my assessor has said I was a lot quieter, and now towards the end of doing my MVQ3, the conversations that I have now and things is totally different.
It changed my life actually, because when I came into the country I had no previous qualifications. Being as an apprentice and working from a kitchen assistant to becoming an head chef and head of hospitality, it's a great career pathway for me.